Go to your local gym. Walk over to the weight rack and pick up two 20-kilogram plates. That's roughly 40 kilos, or about 88 pounds. It's heavy, sure, but you can lift it. You can carry it. It fits in a duffel bag. Now, imagine that same pile of metal producing 800 horsepower. That shouldn't be physically possible. 800 horsepower is a Formula One car. It's a NASCAR engine. It is enough energy to tear a normal transmission in half. And yet, Christian von Koenigsegg, the mad scientist of the automotive world, has just built a motor that fits in a backpack, weighs less than a human, and delivers more power than a Ferrari V12. They call it dark matter, and it is currently terrifying the engineers at Tesla, Rimac, and Bugatti. Because for the last decade, the EV industry has been fighting a war over battery size. But while everyone was arguing about range, Koenigsegg quietly realized they were fighting the wrong battle. They reinvented the motor itself. Today, we are going to open up this black box of engineering. We're going to look at the six-phase radial flux technology inside, understand why it defies conventional physics, and find out if this 39-kilogram metal donut is actually the future of all cars, or just a billionaire's toy. Buckle up. We're going to 2,300 horsepower. To understand why the dark matter motor is such a freak of nature, we first have to understand the problem with the electric car in your driveway right now. Whether you drive a Tesla, a BYD, or a Hyundai, your car uses what's called a radial flux motor. Imagine a rolling pin spinning inside a tube. Magnets on the rolling pin push against coils in the tube. It's reliable, it's cheap to build, and it's what runs 99% of the world. But it has a flaw. It's heavy. To get more power, you have to make the tube longer and wider. You have to add more copper, more steel, more weight. Koenigsegg looked at this and said, boring. Instead, they turned to a technology called axial flux. Think of this less like a rolling pin and more like a pancake. Instead of the magnet spinning inside a tube, they spin alongside two flat discs. It's a sandwich. This design provides massive torque because the leverage is applied further out from the center, like using a longer wrench to turn a bolt. But here is where the genius comes in. Axial flux motors are usually fragile and hard to cool. They get hot and they melt. So Christian's team did something nobody else had successfully commercialized. They combined the two. They created a hybrid topology called radial flux. It uses the leverage of the pancake design but reinforces it with the high-speed stability of the radial design. The result? A motor that is barely 15 inches wide, weighs just 39 kilograms, and puts out 1,250 Newton-meters of torque. Let me put that in perspective for you. The electric motor in a Tesla Model S Plaid, one of the most advanced motors on Earth, weighs roughly 45 kilograms and produces about 350 to 400 horsepower per unit. Koenigsegg's motor is lighter than the Tesla's, but produces double the horsepower. It's like finding a smartphone that's faster than a supercomputer. It breaks the ratio of mass to energy that we thought was a rule. But how do you actually use that much power without exploding the car? That's where the story gets even crazier. Before we explain how this motor rips the tarmac apart, we have to talk about the man who built it. Because to understand the machine, you have to understand the obsession. Koenigsegg isn't a normal car company. It's not owned by a giant conglomerate like Volkswagen or Fiat. It started in 1994 with a 22-year-old Swedish kid named Christian who wanted to build the world's fastest car in his garage. Everyone told him he was an idiot. You don't just build a supercar company. You need billions of dollars. But Christian had a different philosophy. If it doesn't exist, I'll invent it. When he needed a lighter wheel, he invented hollow carbon fiber air core wheels. When he hated how engines lost power, he invented free valve technology, an engine with no camshafts. He is the Tony Stark of the real world. And his latest obsession was the Gemera. He wanted to build a 4-seater Mega GT, a family car that could carry 4 adults and their luggage, but still hit 400 kilometers per hour. Originally, the plan was complicated. They were going to use 3 small electric motors and a weird 3-cylinder engine. It was cool, but it was heavy. Then the dark matter breakthrough happened. The engineers realized this single new motor was so powerful, they didn't need 3 of them. They only needed 1. So they took this tiny 39-kilogram dark matter motor and bolted it directly to the front of the crankshaft of their 5.0-liter twin-turbo V8. The result is the Gemera HV8. Here is the math, and it is terrifying. The V8 makes 1,500 horsepower. The dark matter motor adds 800 horsepower. Combined, the system delivers 2,300 horsepower and 2,750 newton-meters of torque in a family car. This is the most powerful production car powertrain in human history. And the secret sauce isn't just the power, it's the light-speed transmission. Most hybrids feel disconnected. You press the gas, the electric motor whines, then the engine roars and the gears shift clunkily. Koenigsegg's transmission has no flywheel and 9 gears that shift virtually instantly. Because the dark matter motor is attached directly to the system, it fills in the torque gaps. You know that split second in a normal car when it shifts gears and you feel a tiny pause in acceleration? Dark matter deletes that. It fires instant electric torque into the drivetrain while the mechanical gears are swapping. The result is a sensation of acceleration that never pauses. It is a relentless, continuous wave of G-force that pushes you into your seat and holds you there until you run out of road. But you might be asking, okay, it's fast, but why does this matter for normal cars?
The dirty secret of high-performance electric motors: heat. When you push 800 horsepower through a copper coil the size of a gym bag, things get hot. Fast. In a normal axial flux motor, the heat gets trapped between the disks. If you run it hard for 30 seconds, it overheats and throttles down. This is why many EVs can do one fast drag strip run, but fail on a racetrack. Koenigsegg solved this with what they call 6-phase technology. Your standard industrial motor is 3-phase. It has 3 alternating currents pushing the motor. It's standard, it works, but it creates ripples in the power delivery. Dark matter uses 6 phases. It's essentially 2 motors blended into one housing. This makes the power delivery ultra smooth, which reduces vibration. Less vibration means less wasted energy. Less wasted energy means less heat. They also developed a proprietary cooling method where the oil is injected directly onto the copper coils inside the spinning rotor. It's called direct oil cooling, and it pulls heat away from the source instantly. This means the dark matter motor doesn't just peak at 800 horsepower for 2 seconds and then give up. It can sit there and churn out massive power repeatedly without melting down. This is the breakthrough. It's not just about peak numbers for a brochure. It's about sustained density. And this is where the comparison with the rest of the industry gets really interesting. Section 4. David versus the Goliaths. Tesla and Rimac. So where does this leave the giants? Let's look at Tesla. Tesla is the king of efficiency. Their carbon-sleeved motors in the Model S Plaid are masterpieces of mass production. But Tesla's goal is to build millions of cars cheaply. Their motors are designed to be stamped out in factories by robots. They are Raxial Flux, because that technology is mature and affordable. Tesla wins on cost. Then you have Rimac. The Rimac Nevera is the current king of speed. It uses 4 separate motors, one for each wheel, to generate 1,900 horsepower. It's incredible, but it's heavy. A Rimac weighs nearly 2,300 kilograms. It's a tank. Koenigsegg is taking a third path. By using just one ultra-dense motor paired with a lightweight combustion engine, they keep the car light. A Gemera weighs huge amounts less than a pure EV hypercar. This makes it handle better. It brakes better. It feels more like a dancer and less like a bullet train. And then there is BYD. The Chinese giant is doing amazing things with battery chemistry. The Plaid battery is a revolution in safety. But their motors are still traditional. They are building for the commuter, not the thrill seeker. Koenigsegg proves that you don't need to go all electric to be modern. In fact, Christian argues that the future isn't pure EV, it's intelligent hybrid. Think about it. Batteries are heavy, fuel is light. If you can use a small energy-dense fuel tank for long range and a super lightweight dark matter motor for acceleration and city driving, you get the best of both worlds. You get the instant torque of an EV, but the long range and soul of a petrol car without dragging around 5,000 pounds of lithium-ion batteries. This philosophy is what scares the industry, because if this radial flux technology gets cheaper, if it trickles down, it could change everything. Imagine a Honda Civic with a motor the size of a soda can that adds 200 horsepower. Imagine electric trucks that don't lose half their towing range because the motors are more efficient. Koenigsegg is basically building the Formula One tech that will eventually end up in your family sedan. So what is the end game here? Christian Koenigsegg has been very clear. He's not fighting to save the V8 engine out of nostalgia. He's fighting for engineering truth. His Master Plan 2030 isn't about banning gas or banning batteries. It's about agnostic performance. He believes that by 2030, the line between electric car and gas car will disappear. We will just have performance cars. The dark matter motor is the bridge. It's small enough to fit between the engine banks of a V8. It's powerful enough to drive the car entirely on its own. It runs on 850 volts, state-of-the-art. But there's a deeper layer. Koenigsegg is also pioneering biofuels. The Gemera's V8 is designed to run on E85 or synthetic methanol, fuels that are carbon neutral. When you combine a carbon neutral engine with the world's most efficient electric motor, you have a vehicle that is faster than a Bugatti, cleaner than a standard EV when you account for battery mining, and more exciting than anything else on the road. That is the Koenigsegg doctrine. While the rest of the world is rushing to delete the engine, Koenigsegg is teaching it new tricks. They're showing us that if you're smart enough, you don't have to compromise. You can have the sound, the fury, and the mechanical soul, and the electric efficiency. Conclusion. The dark matter motor is named perfectly. In astrophysics, dark matter is the invisible substance that holds the universe together. It's heavy, it's mysterious, and it's everywhere. Koenigsegg's motor is the same. It's a small, almost invisible metal disc that holds together a 2,300 power monster. It proves that the age of innovation isn't over. We haven't hit the limit of what cars can do. We were just waiting for someone crazy enough to rethink the magnets themselves. The only question left is how long until this technology escapes the Swedish laboratory and ends up in the car you drive to work. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on the tech that is actually changing the automotive world, not just the rumors, but the engineering reality, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We decode the impossible every single week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.